What's up? Welcome to another weekly price action recap where I recap the entire week of price action, go over the trades I took, the mistakes I made, and the lessons I learned. Hopefully you can learn something. Let's get into this. Okay, starting with the P&L for the week. Monday took a really dumb loss, minus 1.23K, totally avoidable. Tuesday, I took a 1K win, which was actually not a good trade either, but we'll get into that. And then Wednesday, no trades. And then Thursday, I took two break evens. Friday, bank holiday. Yeah, ended the week down, basically break even. Ending the month up 1.5K, which is again basically break even. Yeah, I'm optimistic for next month as a lot of these trades, these mistakes were emotional losses and totally avoidable. So next month, hopefully, should be good. Okay, starting us off on Monday. On Monday, we are obviously starting to print bullish structure. We inversed this 4-hour fair value gap, so disrespecting bearish PDRAs and trending towards this 4-hour intermediate high and unmitigated daily fair value gap on ES. So coming into the day, I was long. The only thing is we kind of had a lack of key levels on NQ and especially ES. ES was just really choppy on the lower time frame. But nonetheless, I was still looking for some type of manipulation rebalance lower to look for longs up to this 4-hour. And coming in on market open, that's exactly what we get with the first candle sweeping London low and then presenting us with a 30-second inverse fair value gap. We also have this 5-minute here. That's a big key. So we swept London low, which is inside a 30-minute gap. And then, like I said on ES, we had a lack of high time frame gaps or really any draws. And we were kind of in the middle of no man's land on ES, which is actually why I faded. I really wanted this 30-second long, but that's actually why I faded it. And on top of that, cherry on top, we tapped into this 5-minute. So with all that put together, I did not take this long, even though I do think that can be disregarded as our stop is definitely a lot more protected than our take profit. But yeah, I actually really wanted that though, and didn't like that I faded that, which led to this terrible trade. I took this 5-minute on NQ, and that was a really bad trade, but I was just really convicted in the draw. But we had already swept the internal high, which to be fair on MNQ, which is what I was looking at, we hadn't, but still, we took the internal high, so that took our break-even point. This candle, the RR is already terrible. 100-point stop loss. Not a good trade. And as you can see, that instantly gets wrecked. And then right after this, we actually get a very good continuation setup. We don't create any high time frame gaps to sponsor us higher, but we do have this 5-minute rejection block, which you can use just like you use a 5-minute fair value gap with continuations. So we tap into this gap and get in, or not gap, we tap into this rejection block and instantly get displacement upwards, inversing this 1-minute candle where we can then target 1-to-1 our internal high or whatever. And this trade actually plays out, I think, for a 1-to-1, something like that. But yeah, so this I do believe is a good trade. And then right after, price kind of just dumps after edging our intermediate highs, and I think any short like this 1-minute short or any other short after this is not good because we don't have any high time frame key level sponsoring the move lower. No high time frame manipulation or anything like that, so I don't think any shorts here are valid. And then after this move down, we're kind of just in between high time frame PDRAs, so I'm kind of just expecting choppy price action, and I don't really like anything else for the rest of the day. Okay, now Tuesday, we had pumped up a lot more from yesterday, and we had now reached our unmitigated daily on ES. And now on the higher time frame, we were printing, one second. On the higher time frame, we were starting to print our market maker buy model, but on the lower time frame, as you can see, we were starting to disrespect these bullish PDRAs, kind of creating a low time frame sell model. I also want you to keep in mind, when I was trading on Tuesday, I was literally on top of a 14er. You can look on my Instagram for that. But so I was not doing the most in-depth chart analysis, and I really just wanted to hit TP on top of a mountain because that's cool as hell. So my market analysis coming in was a lot less detailed, but this is what it was giving us. It was giving us this sell model. So basically all I was looking for was the short-term sell model, this 30-minute gap to take us down to Asia low, which is also a 4-hour intermediate low, and complete the sell model where then we can start printing more bullish structure towards this buy side liquidity we edged. So with that said, coming into the day, coming into market open, that is not what we get. And we just instantly rip higher on market open. And as you can see, we put in basically perfect equal highs. And that's where my trade that I took came into play. We had completely disrespected, not technically disrespected, but we disregarded this 30-minute gap completely, where we then created a 5-minute fair value gap. And after we created these equal highs, I was instantly looking for a continuation up to it. I wasn't really looking at ES because again, I was literally on top of a mountain, but we instantly tap into this 5-minute and get super strong reaction out of. And I think there was a 30-minute CISD or maybe IFEG somewhere in there. And this is kind of the trade I took. I just got around a 1-to-1 R. I do think this is a lucky trade, and honestly, at home at my computer, I would not have taken this because ES, as you can see, still inside this 30-minute gap with tons of LRL. The reason I just had conviction was because of these basically perfect relative equal highs. And then for the rest of the day, we kind of just slowly chop up and don't really get any high probability setups. Okay, now on Wednesday, we were kind of in a confusing position. And we had the new federal chairman speaking, so I was already a little uncertain coming into market open, but we were also bouncing between two high time frame PDRAs with an unmitigated daily below and lots of LRL to the upside. So basically, I was pretty neutral coming into the day. I wanted to use this 30-minute gap as an agreed upon DOL, as if we were going to be bullish, we were going to mitigate this, and if we were going to be bearish, we were going to use this to send us to our daily unmitigated below. So that's kind of what I was looking for, either a rebalance lower on market open to target this 30-minute or the 30-minute to get used to take us lower. And coming into the day, what do we get? Coming into the day, we instantly just dump, and we swept our internal low here, but ES, until we swept ES, I was not looking for longs, and I was open to long positions after we had swept this 4-hour intermediate low and London low on ES. And we kind of just chop around and get no clear manipulation leg, and just accumulate and then start to distribute. And we had opened this 5-minute, and I was again open to take this 5-minute to the 30-minute, but the closure was just so slow and so choppy that I did not take this setup at all. As you can see, we just run to our 30-minute. And once we took the DOL on both assets, I kind of just logged off and stopped paying attention to the charts, as we had created no real high time frame gaps on the move up on NQ or ES. And for the rest of the session, as you can see, we kind of just chop around. Okay, now coming in on Friday, we had now dumped into our daily gap. Keep in mind, this is also NFP day, so I'm expecting a little bit of volatility for this Friday. But we had now dumped into our daily fair value gap, daily fair value gap, and now we had started seeing reactions to the upside, starting to respect bullish PDAs, disrespect bearish PDAs. Where's the tool? Starting to create our bullish side of the curve, our buy model. So basically, and on ES, we had left these relative equal highs. So all I was looking for was this 30-minute on ES to take us to a relative equal highs. And we also had a 1 hour. So I was looking for this 1 hour to take us to our draws higher, as NQ had lots of draws. There were some 4-hour gaps, lots of low resistance liquidity to target higher. This is also a 1 hour, not a 30-minute. Okay, now coming in to market open, that was our bias. We instantly dump into this hourly gap, and on ES, I got to remind myself what happened. Yeah, on ES, so we instantly get a Judas where we sweep the 30-minute intermediate low, tap into the hourly gap on NQ, and then we get this 2-minute IFEG to the upside, which is actually the first position I took. Unfortunately, though, this position got quickly break-evened. I went break-even, ignore my dog, I went break-even at this internal high, which is actually too early. I thought this was right at the 5-minute, so I got break-evened a little too early, but as you can see, we come in and tap the 5-minute, and I would have gotten brutally break even anyway. And as you can see, this runs to full TP. I do think I could have entered on this 1 minute, as this trade is very obvious. We have these relative equal highs and a 1 minute strong displacement. Like, this trade is perfect. So this is a scenario where you don't have to take the highest time frame inversion. And yeah, I'll be taking that into consideration next time. But right after that, actually, on NQ, it's a similar situation to Monday, where I learned about our rejection blocks. We got a rejection block continuation setup, and I actually took this. We got a very strong 1 minute displacement out of this 5 minute rejection block, respecting CE. So I took this. I was like targeting a 1-to-1 or something, or up here. It doesn't really matter. I actually went break even right when ES tapped these relative equal highs, and then I quickly got break even, and price again ran to full take profit, which is very annoying. And then I personally got off the charts after I took those 2 break evens, because that's just part of my rules. If I took 2 break evens, market is most likely not in my favor. Conditions are probably not in favor for my setup. And honestly, I got off the charts. I don't know what happened the rest of the session. But if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. But yeah. Okay, now for the lessons I learned this week. Monday, the lesson I learned is definitely don't FOMO after a setup didn't play out. I've noticed a lot of the times I take L's is right after a setup that I really wanted, like the 30-second Judas. I really wanted that, and then it just didn't play out, or I didn't get the entry for some reason, and then I just really kind of force an entry after, and I can't do that. I can't force an entry. I have to let the market, let the opportunity flow from the market. And then Tuesday was just a weird day because I was on 14er, so I'm just going to disregard Tuesday. But then the rest of the days, the lessons I learned, and this wasn't from a mistake I made, but the lessons I learned was identify those low probability conditions and then just protect your capital in those low probability conditions the best you can. Yeah. Hope you guys learned something from this video. Thank you for watching.